Okay, so today we are going to talk about what it's really like to live here in Nashville. And I'm going to go over the things that I like, don't like. I'm not really going to do the official formal bullet points of pros and cons. It's going to be more like a conversation. And I'm going to give you guys, as someone who's lived here for 7, 8 years now, something like that, kind of my opinion on what it's really like to be here. So if that interests you and you want to know the nitty gritty, the good, the bad, the ugly, and all the in-between, then make sure and stay tuned. Hey everyone, Tiffany Gudger here with Tiffany Gudger Real Estate right here in Nashville, Tennessee. If this is your first time to my channel, thanks for stopping by. Here we talk about what it's like to work here, live here, play here, have kids here, all the things here in Nashville and the Middle Tennessee areas. So if that's something that interests you, make sure you click subscribe and hit that little bell every time you're notified. So you're notified every time we do a new video. I do my best to get these out weekly, and it's kind of just talking about the truth behind living here and things to do and stuff like that. So that being said, I am a real estate agent, and while I love making these videos for you guys and getting to know you, that is my true passion. So if you are considering moving or relocating here to Nashville or anywhere in the Middle Tennessee areas, please feel free to give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. However you want to get a hold of me is awesome and works for me. I work days and nights and weekends, and I am the one answering the phones. So yeah, that's kind of my spiel about that. And that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into today's video. If you're new here, I always have my sheets of things that I want to make sure I mention because I get a little scatterbrained and off topic, so I try to make sure that I mention everything I'm going to. And even though I do have my list today, it's going to be more of a informal conversation. Of course, it's me talking to my camera and you guys watching later, but I want it to feel a little more like I'm just hanging out with my friends talking about what it's like to be here. I'm going to cover some things that I like, I don't like, some things I didn't know, some things that might be a little obvious, but overall, I think you might be surprised at some of the stuff that I cover. First, let's talk about the area of Nashville so you kind of get a feel for what it's actually like. Nashville is pretty much broken down into a couple different parts. North Nashville, South Nashville, West and East. Seems a little obvious. But there are 2 interstates. Well, there's 3 interstates that converge here in Nashville, and I kind of break it up into quadrants like that. That being said, each quadrant kind of has a lot of different neighborhoods to offer. For example, East Nashville might be a little more eclectic than some other areas. West Nashville is possibly a little more family oriented. And while I could sit here and try to go over the price points in these areas, it'd be really hard for me to do. And that's one thing I try and pride myself on is that I'm going to always be honest with you guys, and I'm not just going to make stuff up for the fun of it. But, you know, 1 street over, 2 blocks over could make the difference in, you know, $150,000 on the same house just because it might be closer walking distance to things or whatever. So I can't exactly give you price points for each of the areas. I can dive into each neighborhood a little more, and I've done that in the past. So if you want to go to my main YouTube channel and check that out, you can see other videos I've done on certain Nashville neighborhoods, but just wanted to go over that as a whole and had a moment to flash a map up for you to kind of be able to see that. That being said, I do feel like there's something for everyone here. If you don't know me yet, I am from Western North Carolina, a small little country town. And so I am not a city girl typically by nature, although I do love Nashville as far as the city goes. It's a big city in my opinion, but still has a smaller town feel. I live in a suburb of Nashville that's a little more rural. I'm close to lakes and stuff like that, but I've, friends that love the downtown lifestyle and live in some areas that are pretty much just condos and you can walk to everything. Or, if you want a farm, there's places, on the outskirts of Nashville where you can be on a couple acres. If you want a cookie cutter type, super family oriented neighborhood with the white picket fences, we have those. There really is something for everyone here. One thing I have noticed in talking to people that is different from back home, we don't have a lot of mobile home parks here, not even really in the suburbs. So that was something I was kind of surprised by, because back home we have quite a few back in North Carolina where I'm from, and there's really nice ones, there's not so nice ones, just like regular neighborhoods, but there aren't a lot of those here, kind of come to think of it. So that being said, with there being something for everyone, while Nashville has big city vibes, in my opinion, we're still in Tennessee, which is one of the, in my opinion, nicest Southern roots states there is. Southern values are pretty prevalent here. But again, there are big city vibes also. Like there are areas where industrial, like old industrial areas that you probably wouldn't have ever gone to, like the Gulch neighborhood in Nashville, which is where the giant angel wings are. If you've seen that on Instagram, used to be this industrial park, and now they've modernized it, and people love to live there and, made it fun. There are places where you can look in one direction and see tall buildings and skyscrapers, and look in the other direction and see rolling hills and things. So it's kind of both, and I actually really love that. There are tons of greenway parks and trails here in the city, where you can walk your dog or ride your bikes or go running. For those of you that do that, I'm not a runner. I've also had a bunch of knee surgeries in my life, so maybe that has something to do with it. But, the greenway trails run by the river, and it's really pretty, and you can be in the city but still feel like you're running through nature. So they have that here. Downtown, there is a lot of construction. One of the nicknames Nashville has is Crane City, because if you go downtown, they're building so much stuff here that there's just cranes everywhere, which is good. But it also leads to traffic issues, and they're always working on the roads. And that's something that's kind of drives me nuts here. Nashville has pretty bad traffic. Now, I understand a lot of these things I'm going to say are relative, because people coming from LA are like, oh, that's not bad. Back at home, it might take us an hour to go 5 miles. And I would lose my mind. I could literally never do that. But Nashville does have bad traffic. The roads aren't great. They're always working on them. So during rush hour, both into the city and home, you might have to give yourself a little extra time. So that's something to be mindful of. There's also no good mass transportation system, which is something they're hoping to work on. And there's been some bills they've been trying to pass to get that done. But I mean, Nashville, you need a car here. We're not really somewhere that you can get around great on just buses or trains. We only have one train, and it goes to like 2 places. So there's that. I feel like we've had a pretty good increase in, oh my gosh, I just realized that my microphone's not plugged in. So hold on a second. We're not going to re-record all this. We're going to keep going, because again, this is a conversation. This is real life. Y'all, this is me. Again, scatterbrained, kind of all over the place, but give me 1 second. Okay, so sorry. Hopefully this sounds better. Again, I'm not re-recording. We're not doing, remakes or whatever. We're just spitting the truth here as it comes out of my mouth, which is a little scary. Like I said, good locations for everybody, country, city, all that stuff. So that's the area as a whole. Houses you can find, you can find stuff $250,000 all the way to as many millions as you want to spend. For example, I know some people want to live in Wilson or Williamson County because they think those schools are better. I wanted to live in a particular area because it's right in between our 2 lakes. So we take our fishing boat and we can be on either lake in under 10 minutes. I have people that want to be near the airport, so they live in Donaldson because they travel a lot for work. Again, not to beat a dead horse, and whatever all those sayings are, but just for examples. I also think Nashville is more diverse than some people might think. At least for me, anyway. I've met people from all different walks of life, all different backgrounds, upbringings. I have learned more about other cultures and religion since I've been here. For example, I listed a house for a couple of some Ethiopian couple, and they made me a homemade, home-cooked Ethiopian meal, which I had never had before. And so that was fun to get to know them, and I talked to them about my, Southern fried chicken, country cooking, meatloaf and mashed potatoes, and I taught them about that. And I will say, while there is, unfortunately, here, just like everywhere, there's racism and sexism and people don't like me because of my religion or my political beliefs, and you're gonna have that anywhere. But I firmly believe for a city the size of Nashville and stuff, that for the most part everybody gets along. I have friends from that their political beliefs are the complete opposite of mine, and we're still really good friends. I have people, I am a religious person. I have quite a few friends that aren't religious, or, I consider myself Christian. I have friends that are Jewish, or, all across the boards, and we're all friends and we all get along. And we just kind of respect each other's, decisions and preferences. So I think I get questions on other videos, from African Americans asking me like, hey, I'm considering moving to Nashville. Do you think I'd be welcome, or other religions? And honestly, I really do. Now, there are going to be people here that, don't like women. So, they might not like me. So I don't care. It is what it is. And fortunately, and even based on clients that I have coming from, different places, bigger cities in California and New York and stuff, they say that people here are just much, much nicer than other places. So no area is going to be perfect, and not everybody's perfect, but I think Nashville and the surrounding areas are some of the most friendliest places to live. I've mentioned in other videos that the only thing that locals and people from here don't like, which locals are probably only half the population here, is when people come from other cities and or other states and try to bring those politics here. That kind of aggravates people, because here's the thing. Tennessee, if you are not aware, is a predominantly Republican state. However, the metropolises, the bigger cities, Memphis, Nashville, Chattanooga, they're more on the blue side of things. So cities are Democratic, about 60%, and 40% Republican, and the state as a whole is about 60% Republican and 40% Democratic. So we're not too far off. But yeah, like I said, just don't talk to people from, if you want to bring different politics here, locals aren't gonna like it. I don't know what to tell you. Just being honest here. That being said, covering politics, we'll kind of get into the gun issue as well, which is a hot topic right now, and I try to stay away from those as much as I can, unless I find it's important. And I do find that it's important in today's day and age. People in Tennessee do have guns. I grew up with guns. Both of my parents are retired law enforcement. My mom, my stepdad, my dad, before he passed away, was law enforcement. And I've grown up with them, as a lot of people here. It's a way of life for a lot of us. We grew up hunting and making memories with our family doing those kinds of things. Feeding our family, going deer hunting, things like that. So there are a lot more guns here than maybe in some other states. And I do think I've been seeing recently where they're looking at passing laws to make it more difficult to be able to purchase firearms, which I have no problem with. So I just feel like that's something we should address. I think responsible gun ownership is important. I have friends that don't like guns. They don't want them, but they understand that they're important to me, and that's the way it is. I will say Tennessee passed a law 2 years ago, I think it was, where we have a concealed carry law where we don't have to have a permit to be able to conceal carry. So, and you might see some people open carrying, on their hips and stuff at the grocery store, but it's not like, it's not the wild, wild west out here. Not everybody's just gunslinging, carrying around everywhere, but you might see more of them here than in other states. Just be mindful that not all gun owners are bad people. I have a lot of special memories going to the shooting range with my mom as a kid and learning about them and the importance of, gun safety and things like that. So some people have really strong feelings and things about them, and I have no problem for people that don't like them. I respect people's opinions, but just know that they're kind of prevalent here in Tennessee. Anyway, I digress. You get the point. So another thing about Nashville is that took me some getting used to is so many people moving here, which I love it here, so I get it. I totally understand. A lot of them are moving here to escape politics of other places. While Nashville can be fairly expensive, in the housing industry, we are lower than national average on most other expenses. So a lot of people are bringing their businesses here because it's cheaper to operate here. And since the pandemic, we've all learned, like, most of us can work from home. So, well, not most of us, but a lot of us can work from home. So they're bringing companies to be based here because it's less expensive. So that's bringing a lot of people moving here. Again, while Nashville housing prices are more expensive than a lot more other places in the state and even the country, they're still way more affordable than a lot of places in California, New York, some places in Florida, stuff like that. So a lot of people are moving here, which is creating a lot of new construction, which is, honestly good for me and my business. Cause I get most of my clients are return clients or people like you guys that call me because they're moving here. So it's good for me and my business, but it's creating a lot more of the traffic that I was talking about. Things can get pretty crowded and congested, and there's a lot more new construction, which doesn't necessarily make everybody happy because then that in turn, just crowds their favorite restaurants or makes it harder to do things. Or the water table here in Nashville, in my opinion, I haven't looked scientifically into this, if we're being perfectly honest, but we're seeing a little more flooding, not like major flooding, but like more water places, because I think the water table is probably rising since they're taking away all this area to build houses, and that's a whole other thing. But moral of the story is lots of people are moving here. You're not the only one. That's primarily the kind of people I deal with, and I'm here to help. And I know what it's like to move here again, moving here from somewhere else myself. I know what it feels like to come here and not know much about it. So that being said, I do recommend getting here sooner rather than later, if you are considering it, because the economy in Nashville as a whole is just constantly growing and increasing. And with everybody moving here, there's still, and then all of them building new houses, there's still more buyers than there are sellers, and basic economic supply and demand. Housing prices are, for the most part, as a whole, going to just continue to grow here. So keep that in the back of your mind. Even if you're thinking about moving here and want to rent for a little while and then really figure out where you want to go, do like one of my clients is that I'm working with now. They're going to move here. They came, looked out some areas, think they found a place they really like. We looked at areas that have, good return on rental properties. They're going to buy a place here, live in it for about a year or so, where they make sure that they love or can find the area that they love, and then move and keep that house as a rental. Just let it pay for itself. But then that way they're going ahead and building equity and they move here and not just, spending money on rent. Because rents here are definitely more than what mortgages cost. So keep that in mind. Our healthcare is awesome. Something that a lot of people don't know about Nashville in the areas, we have a lot of top-notch hospitals like Vanderbilt, Centennial. We are known for those. So that's something that's been great for me since I moved here. It was really a breath of fresh air to have great doctors and hospitals. And healthcare here is lower than the national average as well. We've talked about construction. We've talked about businesses moving here, yada, yada. The job market. And again, we'll get back to what I feel like it is to live here. But anyway, the job market, just so you know here, is the number one in the country right now. We have a huge job market. It just surpassed, I think it was Austin, for the number one job market in the country, which is pretty exciting. It was number 2 for like the last 2 years, but we are the number one job market. Technology and healthcare are the biggest employers here, just random fact. So jobs, there's a lot of jobs here. When you get here, other than working and figuring out where to live, which we kind of covered the areas and stuff, Nashville has an awesome food scene. We love to go on date nights and try a new restaurant all the time. Like we could go on a different date night each week, and it would take years to try all the restaurants here, which if you're a foodie like me is really, really cool. There's a lot to do. I have another video that's 23 things to do in Nashville, and even another one that's things to do in Nashville that aren't just bars and stuff like that. So if you want to bring your kids and come visit, or you want to know what there's for the kids to do, so check out those 2 videos as well. There's always lots of concerts and live music, and I love music. Growing up, my dad always taught me to really listen to music, and the lyrics and what it means, and the way that it makes you feel. And so being in such a musically oriented town is really enjoyable for me. And again, my husband is in the country music industry, and so music is something near and dear to my heart. So if you like listening to live music, there's always somewhere you can go. We have lots of big venues, small venues, that kind of stuff. We have lots of festivals. Oktoberfest in Germantown is one of my favorites. So Germantown is a neighborhood in Nashville. Lots of festivals like a Tomato Fest in East Nashville, Nashville Hot Chicken Fest, all kinds of stuff like that to do. So if you want to sit in your house and be a homebody like I do sometimes, you can do that. But if you need to get out and do something, there's something going on almost every weekend here in Nashville, so you should never be bored. Now, as far as getting out and what the weather's like, I feel like it rains quite a bit here in Nashville, but it's probably also because it's springtime and we've been getting some good thunderstorms here lately. One thing I do love about Nashville is we have all 4 seasons, which is huge for me because coming from a place with all 4 seasons, I knew that's something I wanted. We don't get a ton of snow though, so we don't have a good winter as far as if you like snow. If you don't like snow but want all 4 seasons, Nashville might be the place for you. Some things I don't like about that in Nashville and their weather. Sometimes we do get really bad storms. If you haven't seen, we had a really bad tornado a couple years ago, which was kind of a new thing for this area. But I will say that Southern hospitality we talked about earlier, I've never seen a city come together more in a natural disaster than when that happened. I mean, it was truly like tear-jerking. Anytime something major happens here, the community really comes together. And I really wouldn't have it any other way. We have really bad pollen. Like, it's been really bad recently until we got rain today. But the pollen and allergy season is terrible. There are quite a few bugs. Something that I didn't realize people have everywhere, because I don't know, I guess I'm sheltered, is we do have ticks here. I know that freaks people out. It's, you know, use tick spray and things like that, and you can avoid, for the most part, stuff like that. But we do have ticks and lots of bugs and snakes. But they tend to keep to themselves in heavily populated areas. This summer gets really, really humid for a couple months, and I'm miserable. And for all you ladies out there, our hair gets really big and frizzy, and like I walk outside and I'm immediately sticky. That's kind of terrible. But fall is my favorite season of all time. I love fall, and it's beautiful here. You're not far from the mountains where I grew up in Gatlinburg and East Tennessee, and you can drive through the mountains and see some beautiful fall colors. So that's kind of the weather here. Bad storms sometimes, all 4 seasons. I think overall, the weather here is really awesome. Let's see. And I think that covers a lot of it. I tried not to get too political, I just want to be honest with you guys about my honest opinion. And like I said, I love it here. Our airport is, for example, 50% of the people in the United States are within a couple hundred miles of Nashville. That's why it's Music City, is because it might not be in the middle of the country. It's basically right in the middle of the populations of the United States. And so I like that I can travel anywhere really easy. My friends always want to come visit me. And while it has taken some getting used to, having more of a homeless population than I've ever really seen before, everybody that comes here says it's really not that bad. So I think a lot of it has to do with perception and perspective and where you've come from. Like I said, I hope you guys really think I'm being honest, because I am. I know I've not said a ton of negative things about Nashville, but I don't feel like there are many. I guess the biggest ones would be traffic, housing prices, maybe. I don't know. They're really not that bad. So, yeah. That's kind of it. That's my honest opinion of what it's really like to live here. Oh, it's easy to make friends here. I think that's important to note. My husband travels, like I said, he's gone a lot. And I have made some lifelong friends since moving here. You know, you drive down your road in your neighborhood and people wave to you all the time. People hold doors here. You can talk to strangers at the coffee shop. I mean, it's very friendly. And yeah. That was a really, really long-winded way to say I really like it here. There's some negatives, but everywhere's got them. If you want to know any more about any of this stuff, please text me, comment down below. I'd like to know what you guys think. If there's anything I didn't cover that you want to hear more about, or something you learned that maybe you didn't know already, I would love to hear. So, that being said, thank you guys for watching. Again, please, if you have any questions or are considering moving or relocating here, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I really love hearing from you guys. I enjoy this part of my job and getting to know people. And until the next video, guys, we'll catch you later.